My name is Kevin Hines, and in the year 2000, I nearly died by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. I was depressed, I was terribly suicidal, and I thought I was a burden to my family. This was the furthest thing from the truth. I am beautiful, and so are you. Life is the greatest gift we've ever been given or will ever be given. So live it with me, and be here tomorrow and every single day after that. Welcome to the Mental Health Marvels Podcast.
I mean, it just was so much to a point where you know how you feel like you just hit rock bottom and you don't know what to do. It was times where I literally cried so much from the things I didn't have and the things that I was going through that I couldn't cry anymore.
I am really excited to be sitting here next to my man, my friend, Mr. King Hunter. What's cracking?
Nice to meet you, man.
It is good to see you, brother. We actually met formally or firstly at your place of work.
Yeah.
My place of work as well. And I won't name it so all the girls don't come crashing in to break it down and try to get your phone number. But here's the deal. Your name is King Hunter, which, by the way, is just one hell of a name.
Man, I appreciate it.
Let's just start there, okay? Tell me the background behind your parents naming you King Hunter. Obviously, your last name is Hunter. Well, we get that part. But tell me about the background of naming you King.
Well, my mom, she told me when I was a baby, she saw a lot of potential in me. She didn't know what it was, but she knew I was going to grow to be a young man that was capable of doing a lot of things, and I grew up and lived towards it. So that's why I go to work every day faithfully, and I do the things I do to motivate others to do the same thing.
And one day you will be king like T.I.
I hope so.
All right, well, King Hunter, I want to talk to you about your upbringing. I want to talk to you about growing up on Section 8. Yeah. Growing up in a drug den, gang violence, what you went through, what you experienced, what you may still experience. I want to hear from you where you've been and where you are now. Break it down.
Well, as a kid, I grew up in a small neighborhood called Edgewood. It was drug infested. It was a lot of different violence over there, a lot of people getting killed. Just a horrible place. But I mean, as a child, you don't know what's horrible because you're just a kid and you're growing up seeing these things and you're thinking they're normal until you grow up and you know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I grew up in poverty. I wasn't too happy. But I figured out that I had to find a way to change my lifestyle and make it better for myself. So, I mean, I didn't have the best upbringing. I didn't have the best family that did things for me. My dad, he has multiple kids, so he did more for my little sisters than my brother and me. So we had to make sure everything happened for us. My mom, she's on drugs, so I don't have like the support system that I need, but I'm my support system. I stay strong and I stand strong. I grew up very, very fast at a young age. I started off cutting grass at like 11 years old. I cut 4 to 5 yards a day just to help my parents and my grandparents have money and make sure they can get the things they can get, or if they didn't have things and I didn't have things.
How old were you doing that?
How long was I?
How old were you when you had your first job? How old were you?
My first real job. Well, cutting grass, I consider that as a real job.
That's a real job.
I was about 11 or 12 years.
11 or 12. I did the same thing. All right, and your first job, 11 or 12, because you had to.
Right.
You had to, as they say in the ATL and around this country, you had to hustle. Had to hustle, and so. You had to hustle. You cut grass to put food and other things on the table and to put clothes on your back.
Right.
Break down what happened next.
So eventually, when I tried to help people out and do things, I still wanted nice things too, and I didn't have everything that all the kids had at my school. And I felt like I was left out of the picture. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids treated me different because I looked different from them. They had things that I didn't have, so I was treated differently from all the regular kids. At least I felt that way.
You had the hand-me-downs.
I had the hand-me-downs.
And when you have the hand-me-downs, kids look at you like you are the poor kid, and they treat you like the poor kid.
Right.
And when they do that, there's a preset of how they treat you.
Right, and not even so much even the hand-me-downs. Maybe it could be something like it's not the right brand, or it could be cheaper than the next person's brand, and they laugh at you because of the simple fact you can't afford that brand or something like that. So I just got tired of going through that and kids saying, oh, he doesn't have these, or oh, his shoes are dirty, and I just started doing things for myself. Eventually, over time, I started accumulating more things to the point where people began to think I was spoiled, but I wasn't. I was spoiling myself, and I was trying to live above my needs when really I couldn't afford the things that I was getting.
And explain that in greater detail.
Basically, I tried to get all the luxury things, the expensive Gucci and Louis Vuitton and things like that, and I was saving up so much money just to get that one belt, or saving up so much money just to get that one shirt, because I wanted to impress my friends. And that I know now that that's not the right way, and
it set you back.
It set me back. Yeah, it did.
So you went from Section 8 to hustling to survive, to trying to impress. What was the next step?
Well, after that, I picked up a job once I got older, a real job. My first job was Wendy's. I was working very hard, 16 years old. I remember that they were slaving me. I was supposed to get off at like 10 or 11 p.m. And I was telling my manager, I was like, man, I have to go to school in the morning. I have to go to school because I have to wake up and get to my day. And he wouldn't take me off the register. I kept working. I got out of there almost every day at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, my checks did look good, but I didn't get enough rest. I wasn't getting the proper sleep that I needed to
And when you
functioning.
don't sleep, it affects your brain, mind, behavioral, and mental health.
Right.
Now break that down.
Well, you're correct about that, because you have to keep functioning properly because of the simple fact, if you don't get any rest, it'll just wear and tear your body down, and you won't be able to keep functioning the way that you are supposed to function as far as moving to the pace you need to move.
And how do you go to school the next day and succeed in school and get the right grades and then get to the excelling point where you get to the next level?
Well, the way of me doing that, I just basically had to go through it. I had to go through it basically by slaving at work, still making a way to get up for work. Still making a way to go to school. I'm sorry. But
How did you do in school?
I did pretty decent in school. I was more of the type that wanted to stand out and be the class clown at one point of a time. But when I saw that it wasn't getting me anywhere and I'm only doing it to get others' attention, then I just stopped. I stopped instantly and I started doing what I was supposed to do. A lot of kids, when they saw me do what I was supposed to do, because they were so used to me being that class clown and getting in trouble and getting put out of class, to the point where when they saw me doing good, they're like, oh, he's changing. Oh, he's lame now. Oh, he doesn't fit with us anymore because of the simple fact I'm not doing the negative things to fit with that in crowd anymore. So therefore, once they started pushing me away, I just started feeling like I was by myself. The older I got, I still feel the same way, but I'm okay with that now because of the simple fact with yourself, I feel like it's more structured and you will focus more on the responsibilities that you have to take care of in life.
And today, when you look back at the way you grew up and the way you dealt with the pain in your life, you dealt with it as a man from a very young age. You're sitting here with a good job because you worked hard to build your way up the ladder to get that good job.
All right.
You know, you walked in here with a suit and tie on because you worked hard to get to that point in your life. So my next inquiry into your existence, King, is why was it so important for you to stand as a man when you were a child?
Because I felt like if I wasn't to do it, then no one would set the example. I felt like it was something that I had to do because I wouldn't be a man without doing it. So it just was something that was forced upon me by myself. So I feel like that's part of the reason. I mean, it just was so much to a point where you know how you feel like you just hit rock bottom and you don't know what to do. It was times where I literally cried so much from the things I didn't have and the things that I was going through that I couldn't cry anymore. I didn't have any remorse or any feeling anymore because I let it out so much. Or either you hold it in so much to the point where you just don't feel any type of way anymore because you get used to being that way.
You had no more tears to cry.
Had no more tears to cry.
The water went dry.
Water went dry.
And you had to move forward, or you had to look back.
Had to move forward. Well, it's no looking back once you pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking back.
King, you had to find a will to find a way to succeed, no matter what.
No matter what.
And that success, whether minor, moderate, or phantasmic, and you will get there, by the way, because you're going to surround yourself with people that get you to a place that is, you know, King. When I have to tell you, when I met you at our place of work, and I looked into your eyes, I saw something in you that I don't see in every young man of your age, and your demographic. All right, I'm part black. You're a young black man, and I saw that you believed in you.
Yes, sir.
In a millisecond, I saw that. I saw that you knew that you were destined for greatness.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you if you feel that way?
I do feel that way. I just feel like it takes time and effort.
Time and effort. And you've been putting in that effort since day one.
Yes, sir.
Your mom was on drugs.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a deep question?
Yes.
Is she still on drugs?
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
I try to deal with it best by still doing things for her. I mean, I love her because that's going to be my mom at the end of the day. But, I mean, I just don't try to contribute into giving her money as far as supporting her habit. But, I mean, I will do things for her.
You be there for her.
Yep, I'll be there for her through thick and thin.
Thick and thin to the day she dies.
To the day she dies.
King, I have to ask you, born into Section 8 housing, we talked about that. Your mother was on drugs, remains on drugs even today. Yet you succeed. If you were to give a young black man a map of how to break free from that beginning of life, a map of how to never let that keep him under, keep him down, what would that map look like, and how would you lay it out?
Well, the map would look like it has various directions to take. But the directions are not always the right directions to take because you could still get lost, which all maps could possibly be that way. But you always pay attention to the best way to get to the location that you are trying to get to. So you go down that street if you're trying to get to that location. So basically by me saying that, what I would do is tell them don't ever let anyone persuade you to do anything that you feel is not right or that you feel could get you in a messed up situation, because trouble is easy to get in, but it is entirely hard to get out of. So therefore, I would just tell them to be themselves, and if there is some negativity in the things that they are doing, I tell them to look in the mirror and change the things that they are doing and change their actions.
What about the negative people that surrounded you? What about the drug den that you lived in? how did you stay free from that negative influence? Break that down to someone and map that out.
Well, I just basically stayed to myself. Like I said a little earlier, they just treated me like an outsider. Once I saw myself as me not wanting to be like the next man, then I was considered as an outsider because I wasn't like this person or like that person next door. I was my own man, and I stood 10 toes down until this day.
And that made you, that allowed you to be free from the negative influence and the danger of that negative influence.
Well, yes, to a certain extent.
To an extent. I don't imagine your life was a perfect embodiment of peace and beauty. You know what I mean? Everybody's been in trouble in their life. I've been in trouble in my life.
Right.
And I was raised in a beautiful home. So help me understand from your perspective, where was the trouble and how did you get out of it?
Well, as far as the trouble, I've never really been arrested for any crimes as far as going to jail besides juvenile fighting, maybe at the most. But it was a certain situation that I have been through where I was walking down the street one night, and I remember, this was maybe 3 to 4 years ago, I remember it was someone calling my name, and it was like very late at night, and I turned around to look because I knew who the person was. They told me to come here. I started walking closer, but the closer that I started walking down the street, I saw multiple people standing with him, and they had guns on their hips. So something just told me that it wasn't right. So instantly when I saw what I saw, I turned around and started walking the opposite direction. But unfortunately at that point it was too late, because when I turned around I saw a few guys following behind me. So once I saw them following behind me and they told me to stop, I turned around in shock and didn't know what exactly to do. And they pulled guns out of me and they robbed me. I remember this like it was yesterday. They told me if I didn't give them my stuff, then they were going to kill me. Unfortunately, at the age that I was at, I wasn't scared to die for some reason. And I told them I wasn't giving them my things, and they weren't getting it. So therefore, when I said that, they cocked back the gun. I tried to run, and I got shot. I did get shot. And where I got shot, when I was younger, I got my finger shot off. I don't know if you could see it, or I had to get plastic surgery. And
you took the heat, and all you had to do, in essence, was when you heard that first voice say your name, was just run in the opposite direction in that sense. Now that doesn't mean they wouldn't have come after you again.
Right.
But they did shoot you, and King, I'm glad they didn't get you in a place that would have ended your life. I'm glad they didn't get you in a place that would have lost you the ability to walk, stand, or run. And I'm glad that I got the privilege to sit here today, to meet you, to get to know you, and to become your friend, which I will be for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
And King, I do hope that you one day become king and find that light at the end of every tunnel. And I hope that you grow up to be the man you're destined to be, and that when you look at your children, if you're destined to have them, you raise them in a way that is nothing like the way you were raised, and everything like the way they should be raised in a society to give them the opportunity to be kings and queens. My friend, it's been an honor. Thank you for sitting with me. I greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to spending a lot more time with you and learning a lot more about you. Thank you, King.
So much.
Thank you, King
I
Hunter.
appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you, brother. I appreciate it. All right.